Good morning, everyone. Today is Wednesday. Welcome to my lovely beach scene. I'm going to be teaching you from the beach this week. Just kidding, we're actually in my basement. But I'm going to pretend like I'm on the beach because it's cold and rainy outside and I want to be somewhere warm. We're going to be working on lesson 4 in your math book. So if you would like, you can turn to page 851. This would be a good time if you have your list of vocabulary words that we went over last week to go ahead and pull that out. That way you can add these new words that we're going to go over today to that list. You're going to see that there's a few new vocabulary words that we need to go over. The first vocabulary word is the word parallel. Parallel means that we have two straight lines that are equal distance apart and they never get closer to each other or they never get farther away. They always stay that same distance apart. So whenever you think of parallel lines, I want you to think of like an equal sign or railroad tracks, train tracks. They always stay the same length apart and they never cross each other. So if you want to go ahead and write this down, I wrote down the definition for parallel, and then over here in the green, I drew a little example of what parallel is. It's two lines the same distance apart and they never cross. So now that we know what parallel lines are, we can start learning about our shapes. The first shape that we're going to learn about is a trapezoid. And trapezoids have only one pair. Remember, a pair is two. One pair of parallel lines. So in the trapezoid, there's only one pair, either top or bottom or both sides, that are parallel. The other ones don't have to be parallel. So here's my definition for trapezoid. One pair of parallel sides. I also drew my picture, and as you can see, I put little red lines on the top and the bottom. Those two red lines mean that is our pair of parallel sides. So the top and the bottom will never cross. If you look, the sides will eventually cross once we get far enough up, but these two will never cross. The next vocab word that we're going to look at is the word parallelogram. Parallelograms are quadrilaterals as well. They have four sides, but all four sides are going to be parallel. So our two sides are going to be parallel, and our top and our bottom are going to be parallel. So if you want to write that definition down, parallelogram, both pairs of opposite sides are parallel. And as you can see, I drew you a little picture over here. This shows that the top and the bottom are parallel, and then my two sides with the two red lines are also parallel. Parallelograms also have sides that are the same length. So this side and my far side are the same length, and my top and my bottom are the same length. Also, opposite angles are the same size. So that will come in handy later. Opposite angles. So this angle and that angle, and then this angle and that angle. We have three more words that we're going to look at, and these words are specific kinds of shapes. We have rectangle, rhombus, and square. And you're going to see that these three shapes kind of overlap each other with their definitions. So the first one is a rectangle, and a rectangle is a parallelogram, four-sided shape, with four right angles. So rectangles are parallelograms, but we look at their angles instead of their sides. So they have four right angles. Alright, so there's my definition for rectangle. A parallelogram with four right angles. And then if you look closely at my rectangle, you can see that I drew red boxes in the corners. Remember, those boxes represent right angles. The next one that we have is called a rhombus. And a rhombus is a parallelogram that has four equal sides. Here is my definition for a rhombus. Rhombus is a parallelogram with four equal sides. So if you look at my picture, you can see that I drew my rhombus, and then I marked my equal sides with those red tick marks. We have one last vocabulary word, and that vocabulary word is square. Everyone should know what a square is, but a square is a parallelogram, so it has 4 equal sides, and it has 4 right angles. We're running out of room here. Alright, here's my definition for square. I have a parallelogram with 4 equal sides and right angles. And then over here is my picture for my square. You can see that it's kind of a mixture between a rectangle and a rhombus. It has the 4 right angles like a rectangle, and then it has the 4 equal sides like a rhombus. So go ahead and stick with me. On the next slide, I'm going to walk through a couple problems with you guys. Good luck today.